두 분 먼저 소개하고 여기 계신 분들 간단하게 이제 소개하는 시간을 갖고 바로 이제 교육을 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 네.
Great. So my name is Scott. Nice to meet everyone. 안녕하세요. I help Theragun on the international business. Theragun is one of the fastest growing tools in the fitness space right now. And I say fitness because as people train more functionally, they're getting injured more or they're getting sore more. So we help resolve the pain and get them to move better. Brian helps with the education of the business, and he's going to be giving you a demonstration of the Theragun today.
이분은 스카시고요. 여기 테라건 해외 영업 담당을 하고 계십니다. 그래서 이분 생각에는 테라건이 엄청 지금 빠르게 성장하고 있는 그런 제품이라고 생각을 하고, 네, 여기 와 계셔서 기쁘다고 하시고, 이제 브라이언은 이제 교육 담당이시고요. 지금 이제 브라이언이 자기 소개하실게요.
So what I want to do is I want to take you through a little bit of what the Theragun G2 Pro is, what comes with it, and how you can effectively use it with people that you're working on or with yourself.
자기소개 먼저 하고 시작할게요.
KFC 프로선수들 트레이닝 담당하고 있습니다. 이희은이라고 합니다.
She's the trainer of the professional
저는 대한바디 빌딩 협회 이사로 있고요. 지금 프로골프 아카데미라고 저희 윤영주 감독님이랑 이은 코스 트레이닝이랑 같이 프로골프 아카데미 하고 있어요. 프로골프 아카데미.
She's the board member of Korea Bodybuilding Association, and she's also in the Academy of Korean KLPG. 네. 그다음.
네, 저는 머슬마니아 코리아를 운영하고 있고요. 그리고 현재 맥스큐라는 피트니스 전문 매거진을 운영하고 있습니다.
And is the CEO of Korean Muscle Mania.
네, 저는 센트리얼 피트니스하고 센트리얼 필라테스를 운영하고 있는 이제 한상엽이라고 합니다.
And he's the Mr. Han. He's from the CEO of this fitness center.
네, 안녕하세요. 저는 LPGA 클래스 A 윤영주라고 하고요. 전 파워플레이트 골프 인터내셔널 마스터였습니다.
She's the previous international power plate professional. Yeah, and then she's also now the representative of Korea KLPG.
Osangbak.
I know. 저는 트리거 포인트 마스터고요. 네, do you know 트리거 포인트? 아니, 트리거 포인트 마스터.
I used to work for Trigger Point.
그럼 저쪽에는 우리 저 센트리얼 트레이너.
And they're all the trainer of the central activities.
네. 그리고 우리 여기 촬영팀들은 저희하고 같이 일하는 팀이라고 해요.
And this broadcasting team is there working with this.
안녕하세요.
Now you can start with your
Well, very nice to meet everyone. Thank you for being here. I'll spend a little bit of time just going over what comes in the package when you buy it. But at the basic level, when we look at Theragun G2 Pro, it's a professional quality vibration therapy device. And we're using a combination of both vibration and percussion to help people either perform better, prepare better, or recover better. Right? So those three things, we use it before exercise, during, and afterwards. So when you purchase the G2 Pro, it's going to come with 2 lithium batteries and then a recharger for the lithium batteries. Each lithium battery, when you're using it, is going to last for about 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes, depending upon use. To recharge the battery, it's going to take about 30 to 45 minutes to recharge. So as you're using the G2 Pro, the battery runs out, you pull it out, put it in the charger, get the other one in. By the time this one's been used up, this one's ready to go. Okay? When doing the charging, the one thing that I'll always pay attention to is when you put this in, a lot of times people will just set it in there and the light's flashing quickly. When that light flashes rapidly, it lets you know that something isn't right. This has to be pushed all the way in. So push to click. And then it flashes slow. That slow flash lets you know it's charging. When it turns green, that's going to let you know that it's fully charged. Okay? So that's one thing I wanted to point out there. You'll see this charge. When we put the lithium battery in, it's always going to be the top of the triangle at the top here. It's just going to slide in. And this should go in smoothly. Okay, if it doesn't go in smoothly, don't try and force it. Just let it slide in and then click. Okay. When I first click that in, you're going to see these lights turn on. Lets you know that the battery is in properly and also lets you know that it's charged. Okay. Comes with 4 different attachments. You have the standard ball and the large ball. These are probably the ones that are going to be used most frequently. Larger ball I tend to use on larger muscle groups, smaller ball on smaller muscle groups. The dampener has a little bit more give to it. And so if you have tissue that's a little more tender, it's going to be tolerated a lot better with the dampener. And then you have the cone, which is going to really allow you to get either deep into the tissue or to provide really kind of targeted or focused work. These tips simply clip on and pull off. We also have a rotating arm. 4 different positions. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's going to help you to be able to get the proper angle on different moves that you use the Theragun for in order to provide kind of the easiest use of it. Okay? When we're using the Theragun, I'll often have a couple different handhold positions that I might choose. Most common one would be our standard position. I may also choose to use a reverse grip. Right? For some of them, I might hold it with both hands. And for others, I may even come with a reverse coming in a little bit closer up. So the point is you can move your hands to find the most comfortable position for you. Now, when we first turn the Theragun on, the lights let you know that it's charged. It's going to vibrate at a frequency of 33 to 40 hertz, which is equivalent to around 2,000 to 2,500 RPMs. Now that frequency of vibration is optimized for pain relief. So when we think about helping people prepare for exercise, if they're having some painful conditions, the ability to use the vibration therapy to help eliminate the pain allows them, 1, to feel better as they get ready to do their exercise, but can also help them to improve their mobility, because if you have some pain, the muscles are going to be guarded, so you can use this to help loosen that up beforehand. Right? The other thing we have on this, in addition to the vibration, is the percussion, which is that motion back and forth. Theragun's going to have a deeper percussion than any other device out there. So we're going to get about 1.25 centimeters of percussion in there. It's this combination of both vibration and percussion that are going to give you a lot of the great benefits of preparing better, performing better, and recovering better. Now, I can talk about this a lot. The best thing to do is to feel it. So what I'll do is we'll get somebody up here to feel this. Let's see. So when I first use this on somebody, I'm going to turn it on before placing it on his body, right? And then once it's on, I'll put it on there. And what you're going to notice that I'm going to do is I'm going to have a very relaxed grip and just let this float along his body. Notice how I'm not pressing down. Two things I want you to notice here. One, when I had this going, I was barely holding on to it. I was just letting this float along the top of his skin. When I'm letting it float like this, you're not getting a lot of deep pressure in there. What I'm doing is really focusing on the vibration. Now, if I wanted to get a little bit deeper, then I would start to press a little bit harder. And what I'm going to do is I'll start to push in a little bit more, and you'll be able to feel the difference there. So now I'm just floating, but now I can start doing a little more. And he starts to get that deep percussion within this. And now I can let it float. So often when I'm doing this for somebody to help them prepare for exercise, whether it be to help eliminate pain or to reduce muscle guarding, I'm going to work more on this floating with slow movements. Right? And it's this combination of light pressure and slow movements that are going to help get that body to respond to this. Now, I might start to do quicker movements with maybe a little bit more pressure if I'm trying to help somebody on the perform side. So sometimes what you've seen, if you were watching any of the Olympics on the snowboarding, you can come up. They had the snowboarder at the top of the lift just getting ready to go down. And right before they began their routine, they did the hamstrings. Just enough in this shorter but faster movements, help get those muscles activated, get that vibration and percussion in there, and help those muscles work optimally. So if I was going to get the hamstring there as he was getting ready, I'm going to have you turn sideways. Good. We might come in and do it. That's going to help that muscle be prepared to be able to then do the exercise that he wants. So sometimes we do this prior to the exercise, like the snowboarder was going to do. But if I'm in a gym setting, let's say I was doing bench press, I might do that on my chest before my lift, do my exercise. Then as I'm resting, right before I get ready to do my bench press again, do some short, quick strokes, get that muscle activated again, and get back in there doing the exercise. Okay? Then from a recovery perspective, why don't we have you lie face down. And now, on the recovery side, I would often go back to the slow movements again, but what I'm going to think of doing here is to help the body recover. There's a couple things. With the fascia, we want to help maintain the hydration of the fascia. So this compression and decompression that we can get with the percussion is going to help with that. Plus it's going to help calm the nervous system down to increase the parasympathetic drive, which is going to help the body recover so that it can train harder the next session. The other thing I might do is if there's some tender spots that they might find after training, I might do some additional work there. So when I work on the tender spots, oftentimes if he has a tender spot, let's say up in his shoulder, I might just hold on that for 10, 15, 20 seconds to get that input right there. The other thing I'll sometimes do on those tender spots is work on doing a little pressure and relax, press and relax. And so it's combining this kind of floating on the surface and then digging down a little bit deeper and just alternating through there. And that's going to help really decrease pain also. So what I'll do is if I was doing this for recovery, I might start up in the shoulder. And let's imagine that this was a tender spot. This is where we go in. Then about 15 seconds, then I can start moving along. And if we had just finished out a good leg workout, I might spend extra time on the legs. Just focus on moving slow. And we're just paying attention to any tender spots that he lets us know about. But as I'm doing this, I can work along and probably get the entire body in about 10-15 minutes. Right? We don't have to spend a lot of time on it to get the results that we're looking for. And you'd find the rotating arm, I'm going to have you do it in a second, is if I was going to have you do your own shoulders, if I had this rotating arm position in the first position, sometimes it's not as easy to get up on the top. And this is where you might find coming out one allows you to get a better angle on it. Or if I'm coming in here, maybe I'm going to get into the deep hip. And so you can play around with position. Try it out. Good. Go ahead and do your shoulder. There you go. Good. Let's try this. Very good. Very good. Go grab in like that. Yep. And what I try and do is stay off of any bony areas. And you'll feel if you start to hit on the bone, that the area will start to kind of jump over it a little bit. Just means you got to get back onto the kind of the soft tissue area of the body. Okay? What I want to do is just pause for a moment and find out if there's any specific things you guys would like me to show you. Do you want to find out if there's anything specific they'd like me to show? I've given a really broad overview.
질문 있으신 분 있으세요?
이 바이브레이터가 일정해서 이런 압력 같은 거는 하는 사람이 좋아요.
So this vibration is always a constant. So if you want to have like heavier, then you have to hold tighter.
The deeper you try and press, the more of a grip you'll get.
So you have to hold on higher.
Yeah, it's not very tight though. Try it out. Do it on the shoulder. So turn it on. Yeah. You good? Okay.
보통 전체적으로 아까 한 15분이면 이제 등, 가구 쪽을 다 이제 할 수 있다고 했는데 그게 이제 적정한 시간인지 아니면 뭐 이걸 조금 더 이제 많이 붙였거나 필요하거나 했을 때 시간을 더 늘리는 거 괜찮은지.
So you say you mentioned that it takes only 10 to 15 minutes to burst the body.
Yes.
If you want to have the tender area, then you can do it like more time. You can spend more time, or the 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, if I was working on an individual area, let's say I was just working on his shoulder, kind of upper trap area, I might spend